Wow, would you look at that? What did I draw yesterday? And what did it turn out? The first time it seems like I got it right, and yet I can't even play. I mean, this is unbelievable. What did I draw yesterday? Look at that. Essentially, because this 20-day moving average looks so pretty on the weekly, pretty much says, well, Amazon has got to go down there. And if for Amazon to go down there, the market got to go down there, meaning the NASDAQ, the QQQ. And this set up pretty much set up a green candle for next week to touch the 5 weeks moving average. Now, I did not carry any position over to the weekend, which I should have. I should have bought um, close to this 20 week moving average. I should have sold a put for next week. That would have been the strategy to play. Essentially, I couldn't even play today. I got a couple of hundreds, but no point even going over it because it was so difficult. Even though I saw the big picture, even though I knew, look at that, they landed right on the 100-day moving average on the daily. Essentially, Amazon went down to 2905. I mean, which is right there on the 100, which is right there on the 20 weeks moving average. I mean, these technical lines are like magnets. But you can't make this up. Look at how that yellow weekly moving average, how that is so clean, and it is clean for Amazon. It is clean for the QQQ. Essentially, Amazon, it goes in lock pair with the QQQ. But why is it so difficult to play today? Well, look at that pre-market all the way up. I mean, at the time, if you were looking at this candle at the time, and let me show you, let's look at the QQQ real quick, and I'll show you why it's so difficult to play. Because you gotta benchmark the Nasdaq or the market, in my opinion, at the time when this was being opened up. This was a nice green candle, and you just have a feeling they were gonna save the market. So it was up here, and it was nice and green right here. Uh, it was nice and green, and it was still this tail wasn't touching this. It was still higher than this. So this just gave a essentially gave a positive outlook for the day. I mean, it just made me think, man, because you can never know if it's gonna go up or down. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, even though your analysis says, yeah, it's going to go down, you just don't know for sure because they just give you such false signal. I mean, the look at that pre-market run up. I mean, geez, that pre-market is so strong, a little bit sold off, and I know about pre-market head fake. In fact, I write in my notes all the time, head fake pre-market. But when it's this strong and on triple witching Friday, you just don't know for a fact if it's a head fake or if it's real. I mean, just look at that initial downturn. Then you got this nice channel going up, and look at that. I mean, that channel going up is. Let's just draw that in real quick just to show you why it is so hard to play day trading right now. I mean, you can pretty much you can only essentially you can play day by day. I mean, like swing trading would be something you can do, but day trading just so much head fake. I mean, you just question yourself every time. I mean, look at that right there. Look how that line up. I mean, both lines just look so pretty. So I mean, at in the morning, it seeds your mind how the market is gonna behave. So when you look at that, you're just gonna get seeded that it's gonna be an up day. And geez, I miss this guy. I mean, I saw this signal, right? And I was like almost got it, but I was like, man, I missed it, and I was like, it's probably, and who would have figured, even if I got it, there was no way I would have held it all the way down to where it moved. I mean, look at how it just moved down. Head fake. I mean, I probably would have covered here. All these head fakes. I mean, look at how many candles that is. Normally, when you get the flush or the sell off, you don't get that many candle of support. I mean, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. I mean, almost 50 minutes. If you count this candle intermediately, 50 minutes of support. I mean, on the downturn, you never, and look at this head fake going back up. I mean, this is just all the way back up. I mean, geez, that's like an hour and 30 minutes from 10:50 all the way to that's like an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, geez, and then it sold off even more, and here's a little head fake, sold off even more. I mean, this is impossible to play unless you really have the discipline to play, to just hold from morning to 12 o'clock, and eventually, essentially, turn off the computer and come back at 12 o'clock and see how your portfolio is performing, because from or 11 o'clock, whatever, from morning to before afternoon trash. And then of course afternoon trash is a totally different behavior, and always have this, I never fail to go all the way back up. I mean, this is so, I mean, geez, if I play, if I know, I mean, it just seems so obvious looking at it now. But when you're watching this, you get mind seated, and you know you get confused, because all these, it just seems so bearish that even at this candle, you're like, forget it, I'm just not gonna play the day. But it's just, I mean, the mentality of a day trader is the toughest thing to have. You just gotta have uh essentially really strong mentality to be able to be disciplined, and know that, yeah, they're gonna rescue it to a certain level, and look at that all the way back up. But let's look at Amazon. I mean, geez, Amazon, it's so, the way it was almost, and this is the one that I was playing. I mean, geez, at this time right here, who would have figured? Let's get back up here, right here. Who would have figured that it would go all the way down to, I mean, this is 3,000. Look at that. All here, who would have figured at this point it would have gone all the way down to 2,900? I mean, this candle hitting VWAP. This is where I wanted to, let me get rid of that. This is where I wanted to get in, but I missed it. Jeez. But even if I get in, I wouldn't have covered. I wouldn't have held all the way. I mean, geez, look how much, seems so much to miss all of that. I mean, wow. I would have probably covered here. But look at it, it just keeps going down. I mean, but that's I haven't seen this support of this pretty much fighting. I mean, this is just once. Essentially, you get this in quadruple witching, because even in normal option expiration, this right here, I mean, this is pretty long of a support. This right here would have been a flush or a continued sell off. I mean, rarely do you ever see something where it's just intermediate fight and then continue fight. I mean, continue sell off. Here you got intermediate support. I mean, all of this seems, it looks obvious, guys, going down, but at the time, you don't know. I mean, each one of these are 5 minutes, so even this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, almost an hour you're sitting here watching this. And geez, it's just like, man, you just freeze. You don't know what to do, because it just looks, all feels like traps to me. Eventually, I mean, geez, at this point, it's like, yeah, so obvious, but I didn't want to play once you get to afternoon trash. But you could have sold, all right, you could have probably sold a put for next week, Look at that, ride it all the way back up to 29.50. I mean, you can't make this up, how unbelievably crazy it is. But if you zoom back and essentially just look at it, I mean, yeah, it went down to, as expected, went down to the 28, 20, the 100 moving average, and went down to the 20-week moving average. So that's set up for a positive next week. But let's look at the look how you can blow your account so easily. I mean, this is why I don't play option expiration. I mean, geez, I've done this before where essentially you just blow your account because you get head fake into thinking, let's throw this guy. I mean, in the morning, right, where you see this signal right here today, where you see this strong signal going up, you might say, well, they're probably gonna hold it at 3,000. I mean, the option expiration, they're gonna hold it at 3,000. It's probably pretty safe. So let's look at the 3,000 put real quick. Right at that point, right here. Let's go to one day. Right here, you say, well, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sell two puts and try to collect 2,000. Let's just say you sold two puts at 10, 11. I mean, that's nothing, right? That's 2,200. Well, if you walk away and you come back, in the mid morning or 11 o'clock, where you at? 80, almost 90? Well, guess what? Now you're down 18,000. I mean, wow, you just go, what the, oh my goodness, and you got to cover. I mean, you see you down 8, 17, 18,000, whatever it is, come out, you got to cover, and that's how you blow your account. I mean, it's so easy to blow your account selling options because you're thinking at the time it looks like it's gonna close at least, I mean, at 3,000. There's no way it. I mean, at this time it doesn't look like it's gonna close at 3,000. Um, I mean, the way how strong it is in the morning, and you walk away and you're thinking I'm gonna collect that 2,000 in puts that I sold. Nope. I mean, next thing you know, I mean, who has the discipline or the guts to hold it? And even then, you're gonna come out in the negative, but not as bad as down 17,000 or whatever it is. But you're still gonna be down, pretty much 6,000, 6,000. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but still very painful, and that's why you can't really play option expiration as far. That's why I say don't sell options. I mean, don't sell options in geez, I wanted to play a straddle, but at the time, it's like, man, gosh, it's gonna close at 3,000. If I play a straddle, I'm gonna lose both my calls and my puts. Buy, like I said, buy one, and if you bought one, even if you look at that 29.50, you bought one put at the time. Let's just say, or two puts or three puts, whatever, at five. You're gonna make so much money. That's already 10,000 right there, going from 4 to 40. That's 10x, 10x. But at the time, you can't see that because, geez, you're thinking it's gonna close at 3,000, and that's why self-fulfilling, head faking yourself, tricking yourself, and you just mentally seed yourself with what it should be, but I'm telling you, it's never the way you think. I mean, you just gotta play with discipline and know option expiration, it's going to move. Jeez. And even though it's so strong, I was like, man, I'm just kicking myself that I just don't have the guts to just trust the technical and know. I mean, at the time, it just feels like it's impossible for them to move it down to 2,900. It just feels so strong. How can they move it to 2,900? And then when it started moving down, it's like, I missed it. And even at any point going down, you just feel like they're gonna reverse because it's just in the morning. You just head seed, you just brainwash yourself into thinking it's gonna recover back to 3,000, and eventually it's all the way down here. It's like, you can't really play anything, right? I mean, how do you know if it's gonna go up, go down? These trees. I mean, look at that, all the way down the way you said it was gonna be, all the way down to the to 2,900 essentially on Amazon. But yeah, play you got. I mean, I am not gonna scalp. Essentially September you can't scalp. I mean, scalping is it's just so dangerous and stressful, to be honest. I mean, I just gotta play where you know just gotta trust the technical and deal with losing and know that it's gonna be extreme to extreme. So whatever I gain here, I just have to discipline on the stops, right? Because if I just trust the technical and bought the puts, and make whatever 5, 10,000, that's the way to go, and have your stops. And have the stops where it be like you lose 1,000, whatever, but know that extreme to extreme on September is just gonna make you profitable if you're able to just ignore the head fakes all in between the wiggles. It's just gonna trick you. I mean, look at Zoom. I mean, it's like extreme to extreme. Zoom and Tesla. I mean, the movement is so high that if you get the point of extreme and you set your stop, maybe give it some ample room for stops like down here. I mean, look at all this movement up. Look at all this movement, and Apple probably next week. Let's look at Apple next week. Candidates for next week for the bounce, and hopefully it's just too bad that well, there's probably going to be opportunity. I mean, this looks like a magnet for 100, to be honest. But will it get there on Monday? Who knows, right? Jeez, look at the daily. I mean, this is a decent support. I mean, geez, it can get to, look at that. 100 is the 100 moving average, which line up with 100 for the 20 moving average. I mean, that's just, how does it line up like that? So it looks like that's a magnet to go down to 100 or 101 on Apple. I mean, is it worth playing the bounce on Monday to the 50-day moving average? It may be worth it. It may be worth it if you willing. I mean, I don't know. It's probably gonna gap up on Monday, just the way things are, because everything is cleared out, and if you should have at least sold a put or something for next week. But actually, I did do one for Tesla, but that's just a small one. I should have done more for Apple and Amazon. But I mean, the chances are it's gonna gap up to here, right? And if you're lucky, you get an initial sell off, and that's where you buy some cars, and you just shut off the computer, or yeah, because at the end of the day, most likely it's gonna go up to 110. I mean, that's just the way it looks. Blue pen, because that's the 100-day moving average right here. So it's gonna move up to this level. I mean, and if you set your stops down here, then you'll be okay. So let's look at closely on what that would look like. So if it's gonna go to 110 and gap up next week, um, let's do that. So buying the cars, and you should be okay. I mean, it's gonna gap up. So let's use a green pen, customize. I don't. Let me use a different pen. Let's use the Fuchsia. So it's gonna gap up, and if you're lucky, you get the initial bounce or the initial sell off, but people are still scared based on what happened this whole week. People are still scared, and the shorts are still gonna hit the initial sell off. And this is where you just gotta have your discipline. And when you buy your calls, you just got to trust and put your stops down here. Okay, and maybe even have more room, because maybe it will retest the low. Who knows, right? Well, I mean, you hate to get stopped here and then it goes all the way back up, but that's just, it can happen. Yeah. But if you get in at the right moment, whatever the reversal will be, let's use a different pen, green pen. Whenever the reversal is, whatever the movement, I mean, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I mean, the point is, at the end of the day, it's gonna be here. And you just gotta trust that it'll be here. because it goes from extreme to extreme. So because that's where the 100-day moving average is. Oh, I mean the 50. That's where the 50-day moving average is, 110. So you just gotta trust it, and because all along the way, if you're gonna look at it, it's just gonna look like it's gonna head fake or whatever, and you just got, oh, I've got to cover. You just gotta put your stop wherever it would be, right here or whatever, wherever, depending on where, if you can get in as close to the bounce as possible. I mean, they may even retest the bottom here, and you feel this pain because you lost out on all this gains. You just gotta ignore it and trust that it'll get back to 110 on Monday. I mean, it's just that's just the way to play. And Tesla is gonna run on Monday. There is no way this guy's not gonna run on Monday. This guy has a magnet. I mean, because they got the battery thing on Tuesday, so it's it's probably gonna go. It's probably gonna gap up to 450 already. I mean, that's just the way Tesla is. Already gonna be on Monday. It's gonna gap up to 450, and it's probably gonna hit. Geez, the way Tesla moves. Yeah, I can't imagine it's not gonna pop this 465. So let's just look at that. And how are they gonna announce the news? I gotta check the battery news if it's in the aftermarket um, on Tuesday or not. But they're gonna gap up. Let's just say 450 here, and it's gonna run up. Who knows how far it's gonna run up? Maybe even right here. So what level is that? That's geez, all the way up to here, 470. I mean, gosh, I mean, 470 is the target. I mean, depending on how big the gap up is, I mean, the way Tesla is, look how big it gaps up. I mean, that's such a big gap up that I don't, it's almost impossible to play. I mean, look at that gap up. How do you play that? I mean, you can't short this. You can't short that because that's so much strength. This is so much freaking strength when it opens up. No way are you gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna short it or buy some puts," because man, this is Tesla. It can do this. I mean, there is no one with that type of guts unless they just have bars of steels to sell, I mean, buy the puts and know that it's gonna go here or whatever. I mean, geez, it looks obvious, but this just mentally sees you how strong Tesla is, and I just cannot have the discipline or the guts to play the puts when it's just so strong like that. But here, if you ignore the fear that came from this turn down and bought, you know, whatever the cause is, that's a 10x, 10x on the cause at any given point from here to here. That's 10x. That's how you make your money from extreme to extreme. And for Monday, unfortunately, it's going to be a huge gap up too. So, geez, how do you play when it gaps up like that, right? I mean, do you hope for? I guess you can hope for a downturn and then a push higher. That's the only hope you have, because that's. But I mean, if they do this, you just gotta miss it. But that's the only way to play Tesla. It's just on that huge gap up on Monday to but then you gotta not play that Battery Tuesday, because that Battery Tuesday can be bad news. In fact, I'm almost certain it's gonna be bad news. So, well, you shouldn't hold anything. Oh, I don't. You gotta check when they're gonna release that battery news on Tuesday, whether it be pre-market or aftermarket on Tuesday. Maybe if it's aftermarket on Tuesday, you may be able to hold it for the gap up on Tuesday as well, because everybody's thinking there's going to be some significant news on Battery Tuesday, but essentially it's probably going to be nothing of that significant, and they're going to sell off Tesla. It's yeah, who knows? Unless it really is a breakthrough on battery news. But the other one is Zoom. Man, this guy is this is a new golden child, and I mean it kind of makes sense because that COVID is coming back. It's gonna be probably gonna be a difficult winter fall as cover is going to start coming back, and probably maybe that's why the market is starting to fall, because essentially cover probably that is the reason. I mean, and Zoom is going to behave the opposite of the what the market is or what cover is doing. because geez, this thing is just powerful, powerful. I mean, let's just get a magnet for a new high 475. Even on triple witching. Jeez, look at that run. My goodness, all the way from 480 to 438. I mean, if you buy the cars down here and just sell it at the close, I mean, geez, how many? This is the new golden child along with Tesla. I mean, this might replace Tesla as the new golden child. Jesus, I can't believe how strong this stock is. I mean, it's going back up to 477. It looks like, 'cause the traders love the push game. I mean, the push game is what all the new traders, all they know is the push game, and that's just all they do is just push, 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 and just continue to push. I mean, I just hate the push game, but that's just the way to go if you, because they just load up on the cars, and for some reason, I don't even know who pushing all this, but they just load up and make the money on it, I guess. What's the other one? Apple. Did I go? Yeah, I went through Apple. Tesla. I went through Tesla. Look at Google though. Told you Google was gonna be, at this point where these candles, these are such these wicks on Google's. I mean, these candle with the wicks, that's just gonna tell you. And this is just a head fake all the way to the 20-day moving average. And boom, this thing is going down to 1410. No doubt about it. It's going down to 1410. What does it look like on the weekly? 14, sheesh, it maybe even 1400. I mean, 1400, which is really close to 1410, essentially, depending on how this is the 200-day moving average. This might just start rolling over. And I mean, if you look at that, it just kind of looks like Google has yeah, let's do that. I mean, Google it's probably gonna go the way that looks to me. And if this red pen starts to go flatten out and go down, and here this blue pen right here starts continuing to move up, uh, yeah, actually it's hard to say. Probably this blue pen continues to move up to 1400. So yeah, who knows? It's probably gonna pen it. It's probably gonna hit the blue more. So 1400 looks to be to me looks to be the signal where this is gonna go on the weekly, and it probably won't be. It's probably just gonna touch it with the wick. I wouldn't. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's just gonna touch the wick, and that's gonna allow for a bounce. So essentially, it's gonna go here and touch the wick, and it probably won't be on Monday, but could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. It's gonna touch this, and then that would allow for the move up. Not that far up. It's gonna move up so that it'll touch the 5-day moving average. Uh, so whatever that 5-day moving average is, and yeah, I don't know how that's gonna look, but essentially it's gonna move up and touch that. Well, yeah. Well, just look for a bounce. I mean, it's gonna be a bounce up. So, so 1400 is the target for on Google. Is that right? Yeah, 1400 right there. So let's just look at the Nasdaq again, the QQQ. I don't need this guy. Get rid of that. And geez, the Nasdaq does look like. I mean, if you look at this, it just looks like this. What is this at? 258 almost, and this is 258. Jeez, it does look like it wants to hit this. So how do you play that? I mean, I guess this just essentially next week most likely is gonna test this guy. I mean, that's just how it looks like. Red pen. So this goes up, right? So it has to touch that next week to make it look like that. And then this yellow has to continue to go down. so that this red pen, this will have a wick that touches this up here. Okay, so if we're gonna touch up here, then let's just say Monday it'll be the bounce, because Monday's definitely gonna be a bounce. So if it's right here, let's just say you have a green candle like that, right? And then you got Monday, Tuesday, battery day will be a bounce for Tesla. So that's gonna be another one right here, right? So that set up the yellow to be something like that, where this looks like. And then Wednesday gonna be the reversal Wednesday, because maybe the battery news is bad news. So it'd be a gap down. So you got a pretty big Wednesday. And then Thursday gonna be another down here. So that it would end up down here. So that would make the most sense. Let's just ignore Friday for now. So let's just assume battery Tuesday is gonna be the catalyst for Monday, Tuesday. The news comes out after hours, the conference calls on Tesla, and maybe the results isn't gonna be expected. So they're gonna sell off on Wednesday, Thursday. So that would set up this guy to continue to go down, and this would be continue to go down. Um, and then and then when will there be a reversal? Well, let's just play 1 week at a time. Eventually, there's gonna gotta be a reversal. I mean, I can't imagine. Um, but for right now, next week does look like it's just the candle looks so too nice. The candle look way too nice not to be a red candle next week. I mean, it's just the fitting is just the writing's on the table. I mean, it just looks just the way it looks. It just looks pretty, you know. And you can't ignore. You gotta realize the way things are behaving now. Everything is traded by computer. I mean, I'm almost certain right now that all the computers are making the trades. Most majority of the trades are all computers, all algorithms, and they see this. Just like they see this run up, and they see this top, and they see this, and it's just gonna go down there. That's just the way it is. I mean, I can't make this up. The way this candle ended up the way it is, and the way Amazon landed all the way where it is. I mean, you can't make that up unless you know that the computer knows this in advance, and they already have it so that it looks like that. And so it lands right on the 20 week moving average to set up for the bounce on Monday, right? So that's the bounce on Monday, and maybe Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, that's just the way it is. And then probably let's just look at the Q1 last time and see. Um, yeah, so this is starts to roll over, and yeah. So who knows if that's gonna, well, how many is next week the last week of September? No, there's one more week. So we'll see what happens after next week. See if, and then there may be a bounce on October, or it continues to go down. Really, it's hard to say. I mean, they can manufacture this to continue to go down. I mean, especially the way it moves up and up. So why can't it move down? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised of anything anymore, to be honest.